What's going on, you bunch of heretics? Grab your paint pots, grab your recaf, and let's get some paint on that ever-growing pile of potential. It's here. The heresy is my therapy. Slapchop tutorials. We are back with faction focus, specifically Killteam faction focus, and we have got the Space Marine Scout Squad from Warhammer 40k Killteam. Today we are painting the Humble Scout Warrior. Okay, so yeah, the Humble Scout Warrior, that's what we're going to paint. We're going to keep it like the box art, keep it simple, keep it safe. Let's get to it. Okay then guys, so here he is, the Humble Scout Warrior. Very simple enough, easy to build, easy to put together. We've done a quick base with the matte black from the army painter, and all I've done is just quickly touched up some areas that I've just kind of missed. Obviously we've got our three main dry brushing paints we're going to use today: Administratum Grey, Ulthuan Grey and White Scar. Paints that we're probably going to need today, so for the armor work we're going to be using Terradon Turquoise followed by Black Templar. For the cloth work we're going to be using Basilcanum Grey, and for the leather work we're going to be using obviously our classic Gor-grunta Fur and Cygor Brown team up. Easy as that. And then for the blade we'll just be putting on some simple metallics, and for the skin just our classic Cadian Fleshtone, Cadian Flesh, and then Kislev Flesh for the highlights, with a bit of Agrex Earthshade in the recess. And to highlight the crest with that raven wing look, we're going to be using just some White Scar, just to kind of titivate those highlighted areas. All right, so without further ado, let's get to it. First things first, then we're going to get our Administratum Grey done. All right, so again, we give it a good shake up. I'm going to be using, from the Techlon Tiger Drybrushes, I'm going to be using the R2 Diamond, is what I'll be using for this. So again, as always guys, we just place it on the brush, and all we're going to do, we're going to take it all off, just small circles on your paper, your palette, whatever you want to use, but we're just taking it all off. Remember, as always with these, it's small circles on the model. We're getting underneath, so with this initial layer we are getting absolutely everywhere with this, okay? Absolutely everywhere with this guy. All right, and we're going to slowly build up the layers, okay? So you can do 1 or 2 layers. Me, I like to do 2 layers of this, just to give it a really good firm base as we start the slap chop process. It can be messy, and if you want to get into the recess areas, as we talked about before, we've got our A2 Shiva that we can get into these underparts as well. Right, there we have the first dry brush layer applied. Now we're going to do same again. We're going to still use our the R2, and same again. All we're going to do this time is just on the highlighted areas, Ulthuan Grey straight over the top of that. Again, on your palette, take it all off, get it all off. We want to go with, you know, we want to build the layers, okay? Build the layers, okay? And all we're doing, go heavier on the crest, and all we're doing is we're just going down the model. Again, small circles, down the model. We're not trying to go underneath, because now we're trying to pick up all of the tops, okay? So we're just trying to pick up all the tops off the model. And again, we'll probably put 2 layers of this on, just to really make it pop and shine. Okay, so remember, we're just going down the model. Absolutely no requirement to go underneath like so. We're just literally keeping it on the top. All right, picking out where the light would be hitting the model. Okay. Cool, right, with that applied, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly grab an old dry brush and just get the dust off. Okay, just to freshen it up for the next final layer. Yeah, easy as that. And then I'm going to grab my small R1 Roy, and all we're going to do is get our white scar, give it a shake, again, on the brush. Yeah, plenty on there. Take it all off, take it all off. And all we're now doing is we're just fine tuning. Again, maybe a little bit heavier just on the crest. And then all we're doing now is we're just literally just picking out all of those high areas. You can probably see the dust just coming off this still. You know, like I say, no need to get in the recesses. We are literally top to the model, top to the weapon system, top of his head, top of his pack, top of his pauldrons, and just literally just down the model, get wherever else. And there we have our base ready to go. 2 minutes Heretics, we need to talk about today's video sponsor, Chronicle. As many of you know, I have been using the Techlon Tiger Drybrushes for my Slapchop and many of the Slapchop videos. I love them, I cannot recommend them enough, which is why I've partnered up with Chronicle, and they are giving channel viewers 20% off site-wide on all of their products. Just use the code HERESY20 and you will get 20% off all of everything you buy with Chronicle. Everything you need to know where to find it all is in the description below. So yes, these I definitely recommend for my Slapchop videos, and hopefully you guys will enjoy them too. Back to the feature video, the tutorial, whatever it is I'm doing. Okay, next we're going to need our Terradon Turquoise and of course, as always, our trusty Lahmian Medium. And again, this is going to be a simple 50-50 mix of Lahmian Medium and Terradon Turquoise. As usual, guys, is all we're going to do. So again, on our palette, nice thin mix, and all we're doing is just on all the armor work, just nice thin, just to create that kind of that hue for the highlights. Okay, and again, we can always darken it should we need to. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to get it a little bit closer to the camera so that you can see it a little bit better. Hopefully you can. You know, so on the pack, that's where we're going to be going. On the pack, and again, this is nice and thin because we're going to be applying Black Templar over the top of this. So maybe do 2 thin layers. Duncan Rhodes it. Yeah, on his arm pauldrons, on any sort of armor work is where we're going to go. On the boots as well. So on all the boots, on his boots, la la la. Yeah, boots, armor work, 2 thin coats, easy as that. Okay. Okay, so hopefully you can see there that we've applied a couple of thin layers of that Terradon Turquoise, and all that's going to do is just give like a little bit of a hue, that sort of like turquoisey hue underneath the model. So we're going to very quickly let that dry, and all we're going to do is now we're going to apply same sort of thing again, just with some Black Templar, 50-50 mix of the Lahmian contrast, Lahmian Medium and Black Templar. So grab your Black Templar, and again you could probably put this straight into that old mix if you really wanted to. It'll go in quite nicely, and it's already kind of pre-mixed with the Lahmian Medium anyway. Or just add a little bit more. We can just add a little, you know what, we'll add a drop more. We'll add a drop more in there. Bob Ross on there. We'll just a little, go nice and light. That's what I've been saying this whole thing. We'll go nice and light. So all we're going to do, like you say, we've done the pads, and all we're going to do is just very lightly, we're just going over all the areas we're going over all the areas that we've applied the Terradon Turquoise to. And again, it is really important that we have the thinned out layers, just because if you put the Black Templar straight from the pot, it's going to almost just completely take away those areas that we've just worked to create that hue. Alright, so like I say, same again, we just slowly build it up. Alright, so again, you can do a couple layers of this. Again, don't let it pull, move it all around as the same as before. Okay? Again, nice and gently, nice and light, nothing wild. Alright, don't go thick, just go nice and thin. Duncan Road style, guys, Duncan Road style, 2 thin coats. Areas that you can go thicker on is kind of like between the boots, that kind of like almost like leather work that's there. You can get a bit thicker there if you want to. It's up to you, however you want to do it. We're speed painting, if you will, slap chopping, aren't we? Yeah, buddy. Right, as you can see, that's now drying away. We put a couple of layers in, it's darkened it up quite nicely to start to give it that sort of effect. While that's all drying out, that sort of like, not black, but that dark turquoisey, leaning on black. So while that's drying out, we're now going to put our sterling mud on to allow that to dry just while we wait. So again, pop it on, a little bit of water in there, and again, this is just something I'm gonna basically apply a bit of a dry brush with some red to give it like a bit of a Martian base. Later on, some stones, bit of purple in there, just why not, you know, create a bit of a Martian base. But all we're doing here, bit of sterling mud, nothing too wild, nothing too thick, just something easy. And then while we're applying everything else, this will just dry nicely as we're doing the rest of the model. Next up, we're going to use Basilcanum Grey, again with our Lamian medium. Alright, and all this is going to do, this is going to be again 50-50 mix, build up the layers. We're just going to build up the layers, and again, it's got like a bit of like a, not a brownish, it's like a brownish grey, which I think looks really quite nice. And all we're going to do is we're just going to mix that in 50-50 mix, as you can see at the bottom of the screen there. And all that's doing is just going to go into the cloth work. And again, this is going to be a couple of layers. Sorry guys, I keep forgetting to bring it closer to you. And all we're doing, a couple of layers in around this area here. What you can also do with this is, as I was talking about before, remember the little bootstrap parts? We can put a little bit into there as well, just to kind of break up the tone between within the boots, just to kind of give it a bit of contrast. But otherwise, a couple of layers again just in here, just to kind of give it that look, to make it a little bit like the box art. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. I'm trying to paint. Look at the paint, look at the camera. Make sure I'm giving you guys the best I can possibly give you from this POV angle of painting. But yes, so we're going to do a couple of layers, and like I say, all the cloth work is all we need to worry about for this. Alright. While we've done that, guys, I just want to say you can also, if you want to at this stage, just apply the old 50-50 mix of the Terradon Turquoise and the Black Templar just on the gun casing if you want to. This is just the weapon colour weapon I'm gonna go with. Again, you guys can do something different, but again, we're just adding some colour into there. And as you can see, that Basilcanum Grey is slotted in there really quite nicely. Yeah. So as you can see, that Basilcanum Grey is just sitting in the model ever so nicely. And again, if you want to go darker, you know, again, just pop another layer on. It's absolutely fine. Alright. Well, this is embarrassing, because I'll tell you what I've just realised. I've forgotten to put a put on the back. Like an idiot. But don't worry, like I say, it doesn't matter too much. This is just to demonstrate the basic colours of the model. I'll fix that up later. Clown. Right. Next up, Gor-grunta Fur. You know the classic routine, guys. It's going to be Gor-grunta Fur partnered up with the classic Cygor Brown mix, 50-50, Gor-grunta Fur and Lamian Medium. As always, super easy, nice and light. Again, as always with this video, couple of layers. You don't need to go straight from the pot. We just layer it up bit by bit. Alright, so all the leather work, belt, oh god, sorry guys, I keep forgetting to do it. Belt, webbing pouches. Yeah, belt and webbing pouches. That's basically it. So belt, webbing pouches, and you are going to do a couple of layers of this. So all in here, just to give it that look. Alright, easy as that. So again, a couple of layers, 2 thin coats, Duncan Road style. Easy as that. Hopefully you guys can see that. The focus is in there nicely now, I think. Good. There we are. I hope I'm capturing this as well as possible, guys. I really do. So yeah, a couple of layers. Like I say, move the paint around. Don't let it pool. Let it all dry out. And then apply another one. Okay. Next up, it's time for the old Cygor Brown. All we're going to do, Cygor Brown, straight into that old mix. Mix it all in. Take it all off as best as possible. And then all we're going to do, guys, is just a thin layer. Just the once over. You don't need to build this up unless you really, really want to make it darker. But just make sure that you just apply a thin layer of this over the top of those webbing pouches and all the areas that you've done. I've also added a little bit into his hair as well. Okay, but just make sure that you apply a very thin layer of Cygor Brown. This is a very, very, very deep colour, and it will take over. So if you go straight from the pot and not mix it in or water it down, or thin it down, it is going to take away all of the undertone that we've created with the Gor-grunta Fur. Okay, so nice and light, nice and thin. One coat is really all you will need, unless you decide that you want to go a touch darker. Okay, so again, up to you, but I'm just going to keep it as just a one coat as we do this. All right, there we go, easy as. Right then, so as we can see, in fact, I owe you guys an apology. I've just realised that I have not been using the mic, I've been using the actual microphone on the camera. So if it seemed a bit tinny this entire video, I can only apologise. Anyway, it is time for the dry brush phase. Now that everything's all dried on there, we're going to get our good old-fashioned Zandhri Dust. We're going to get ourselves our F2 Biaco brush, and again, all we're going to do, shake up the Zandhri Dust, place on, okay. Take it all off, yeah, take it all off, all off, all off. Start on the base. In fact, no, because we're going to do that different colour, sorry. We're just going to start on the browns, and we're just going to absolutely feather dust. As always, guys, it is a feather dust. As you can hear it, there is literally next to no pressure going on the brush. We are just dry brushing the entire model. Nice and light, nothing wild. Literally just picking out, well, not even picking out, we're just going over the whole thing. Okay, over the whole model, over absolutely everything. Okay, but this is I'm talking like feather dusting, absolute feather dusting of the Zandhri Dust. And just keep going until it's literally like there's nothing more visibly going on. You will see it slowly take shape. Okay, this is one of those trust the process moments. Okay, it will take time. It will take time, but just trust the process. It will get there. Really, really slowly, guys. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. You do not want to be jamming this on or really trying to scrub it on. I'm talking the lightest of touches. Okay, and then you can just go back over it again and build up where you feel you need to. Alright. Okay, next we're going to grab our Zero Mecan brush. What we're going to do now is we're just going to just put a little bit of a wash into the white of the crest. This needs to be and then we'll just add a bit of a highlight in there. Again, I know it's not really a Slapchop sort of thing, however, we're talking a really, really light mix. I'm talking like almost wash level. I'm not doing a normal oil, it's probably a bit too dark, but what I am going to do is just really, really lightly apply this all over. Okay, so we put it on the brush, and all we're going to do, just nice and gently, just to let that sit in the recesses of the white. Okay. And then we'll come back to that later for a final edge highlight. Okay. Okay, it's time for some metallics. So we're going to get our Iron Warriors. Give it a good old shake, 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 shake. Shake, rattle and roll, baby. Shake, rattle and roll. And again, we're just going to put a little bit onto our palette. And all we're going to do is we're just going to all these areas on the top here. So all I want is this like rebreathe set, and that's going to do that there nicely. A little bit on his antenna. Yeah. One of the studs at the back. His combat blade. And then there's other little studs that you might want to do as well. Don't forget as well the gun casing, so the weapon casing, other side of the blade. Okay. Next, we're just going to use some Balthasar Gold, and all that's going to do is Balthasar Gold is just going to sit nicely on the palette again. And all we're going to do, we're just going to put it on the handle of the combat blade. It's like a bit of a brass look to it. Okay, nothing heavy, just nice and light. On the combat blade, on the handle. Oh, he says. Okay, easy as that. That's all we're going to do. Okay. Right, next up it's time for the old liquid talent, the old gnome oil. And all we're going to do with this, okay, just nice and easily, from the pot, straight onto the model, okay. And as I always say about gnome oil, the great thing about this is if it gets into the bit of the model, into some of the recesses, because of the tone we've got on here, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. So I'm not saying don't be neat with it, but I'm just saying like it's not a world ender. Alright? Yeah, just have a go, experiment with it. Non-oil is great. It's called liquid talent for a reason. Like I say, just all the places we've done silver, all you're going to do is just pop that non-oil in those areas. Okay. And you're also going to put it on the Balthasar Gold areas as well, because that will just dull it down a little bit. Alright. Easy as that. Alright guys. Sorry, I am trying to zoom in or keep it as zoomed in as possible, whilst also not knocking the camera over and trying to keep it in some sort of focus. All right. Hopefully you can see that okay. Right. While our Nuln oil is drying, we're going to get our white scar, our small brush, the old McCann, and all we're going to do is just onto the palette. We're just going to very, very delicately. We're just going to add a few little highlights. On the model, just so that he stands out a little bit. So it's literally just on the crest. Obviously, because with it being a raven wing, we're just going to get just the edges. Okay, just the edges of the winglets. Okay, and again, you know, take your time with it. You know, just be delicate with it. Like I say, it's better to have less on the brush than too much, and it will all look a bit blotchy. But you know, for what we're trying to achieve, that'll do. That'll do just fine. Hopefully you can see that. The very evident white crest of the raven wing. He's looking alright, isn't he? Okay then, folks. So now that we've done that, we are going to grab our F1 dry brush. Again, it's a thinner, it's a smaller one, and we're just going to use this to. We're going to use this is Stormhost Silver, so very nice and light. This needs to be super thin because this is a very, 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 very light silver. So this needs to be like, again, take it all off the brush, and we're just talking on the sword first, on his combat blade, just very delicately dry brush over that, okay, and then just very delicately, and you'll start to just see that come into shape. Okay, from there, same again, just on the main part of the weaponry, muzzle. And again, what is nice about this is, again, if it gets on some of the gun case, it doesn't matter too much, because it will just make it like it's like a like chipping of the paintwork. And again, we're just delicately applying it over, and if we run out, we just go over it again. But again, very delicately, and I mean really delicately with this, guys. You know, just delicately, maybe not so much on the combat blade, you can get away with being a bit more sterner with it, but for those smaller areas that you're trying to get, that's the great thing about this this smaller dry brush from Chronicle and the Techlon Tiger range. We can just brush up, not have to worry about a giant brush doing it. Alright, and then just like I say, just pick up more areas if you feel like you need to. Okay? Right then, it is time for the last few bits. We're going to get some Cadian Fleshtone. We're going to just do the skin now. Okay, you're going to want Cadian Fleshtone. You're going to want your Guilliman Flesh, and you're going to want Kislev Flesh, and you're going to want your little pot of liquid talent. Again, we're using the McCann brush from the Techlon Tiger set onto the palette, slightly watered down, thinned down ever so much, and all we're going to do is we're going to place 2 thin coats, as always, Duncan Rhodes in it, into the face. Yeah, so Duncan Rhodes in it, into the face. Get it all in there, guys. Duncan Rhodes in it, like I say, 2 thin coats into the face. Okay. Into the fingers, hands. Probably it's been gloved up there, like a semi glove. Okay, that hand, and of course the other hand. All right. So we're going to do 2 thin coats just into the face. Okay, 2 thin coats to be applied. Okay, so there we have him. 2 thin coats of the skin applied. So all we're going to do now, we're going to take our Kislev Flesh, and again we can pretty much go straight from the pot with this, but we're going to go on the pot, onto our palette, and then just onto the face. Okay, so from the palette onto the face. Okay, and that Kislev Flesh will just sit really nicely in all those recess areas. I really like Kislev Flesh. I think it as something to help out with skin tones, it is absolutely perfect. Just for real simple, quick and easy shading for your miniatures. Super easy. Don't forget, get it in the hands and on the other hand as well. Okay. Next up, guys, it's time to grab your Agrax Earthshade, and all we're doing, very simply, we're just placing this into the eye recesses. Okay, this is going to go into the eye recesses. We're not out to paint any eyes, okay, because we're just trying to get our models painted up. Alright, so all we're doing, into the eye recesses, just to darken, give them like almost hooded eyes, you know, hooded eyes. That's quite cool. Okay, and if you want to, you can just add a little bit into the into the face a little bit more if you really want to. All right, but all we're doing, we're just trying to make his eyes a little bit more hooded, as opposed to kind of painting his eyes in there. If you want to do that, there's plenty of masterclass videos out there that will teach you how to do that. I recommend Louise Sugden's masterclass on faces. It is phenomenal and something I've used on some of my other models. But for this, guys, we're just literally making some hooded eyes and just getting into those recessed areas. Okay. And finally, we're just going to put a few little edge highlights on. I'm going to use Kislev Flesh, and all I'm going to do is just give it a little shake, and then just place that into that Cadian Fleshtone to give it a bit of a mix up, a bit of a watered down. And all I'm going to do is I'm literally picking out just the highlights, so like just the nose, around the eyebrows, tops of the forehead, bit of the cheekbones, and then we're just going to get the fingers just on the points, on the knuckles, just where the light's kind of take into it. Yeah, just where the light is on the fingers, and of course just around the top of the back of the head, just a little bit in there. And yeah, like I say, just over the nose, the eyebrows, the forehead, the cheekbones, just to give it a little bit of variation. All right, easy as that. And that, guys, is him done. So we're going to skip to the part where I'll finally decide on a base that I'm going to give him, and yeah, that'll be him all finished. Right. Oh, hang on, focusing failed. Hopefully that's now focused. There he is, all done. Our Space Marine Scout is all done. Yeah, hopefully you guys have found this video somewhat useful. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If not, well, let me know if you didn't enjoy it. But yeah, hopefully guys, this will help you out with your Space Marine Scouts. As on the box art, this is the Scout Warrior. We've got the sniper, a heavy weapon, and of course a captain to go yet. So yes, there he is, all done. Right guys, see you on the next one. Bye bye.